Hey, thanks for joining me. I got a new air conditioner to test out today. It's ModsPioneers. It's a 12-volt DC air conditioner. It's supposed to be super efficient, and I think it's a 10,000 BTU. So hopefully this will be a little bit better than the 8,000 BTU that I had earlier on the camper. And I'm going to get started installing it. It's been running and making all this moisture on the ground. So let's get into this box and see what's in it. Get that set. And then we have all the mounting hardware. And we have instructions, which I just dropped on the ground. Pretty straightforward, I think. There's not... The one thing that they said to be careful of is the drain holes. Do not block the drain holes when you're putting the seal on. So I'm going to be very careful to do that. It looks like you cut it at a 45-degree angle when you go around the perimeter. Alright, so they emailed me this diagram. I don't think it was in the instructions, but it shows do not block these holes because they're drain holes. There's two in the front and there's two in the rear. So I'm going to go ahead and install my gasket about where they say to install it. And make sure I do not block those holes for drainage purposes. And then I'm going to load it up on top and get it mounted up there so we can test. They have these little rubber plugs that go in the holes in this gasket so that it doesn't get compressed too much. You have to pull out the old ones and then stick these plugs in the holes so that it's got harder rubber and it won't compress when you tighten it down. You notice the difference. So I guess they expect the gasket to compress that much. So we'll go ahead and insert these and get that taken care of. All right, got the gasket stuck on there. I got it lightly tacked on there right now to see if I got it evenly spaced. I've got all the drain holes not covered up by the gasket so water can come out. And next thing I know, we're gonna press that down and throw it up on the roof. Because I'm gonna move this and then I'm gonna get up on the scaffolding and then I'm gonna pick it up and put it on the roof. It's just really awkward. This is why I didn't work out there.
This is very dangerous. Why is it moving so much?
Because I don't know.
This doesn't seem very sturdy, Mark.
Probably is.
There has to be a safer way.
Whew. That was the nerve-wracking part. Well, it's up there. I gotta go get my other ladder so I can get the plastic off it. I fed the wires down through the hole. You're gonna have to bear with me. I don't have a tripod up here. I'm trying to just demonstrate we're getting the plastic off. I imagine once I have the bolts in and it compresses, it'll fit pretty flush up here. If not, I can I can make some adjustments or buy some other rubber to fill in where it's necessary. Let's go in and I'll explain. I'm using an RV power supply that's 100 watts. Let me put this stuff down real quick before I bring you guys in. Whew, okay, I know one thing, it's hot enough out here. I'm ready to test this thing out. Don't have the mounting plates installed right now because I am going to test the unit out and see how well it performs here before I do the final mount. I will figure out where I need to drill those extra holes, or if I need to. In the meantime, we're going to get some power to this and see how well it performs. So what I think I'm going to do is probably make a smaller base plate to mount this, because this one is really big and I don't think I need anything quite that big. I could probably make it around that size, smaller base plate, because I don't need all that extra sticking out right here. So we're going to wait on that. For right now, I'm just got the cord running down so I can test it and run some electricity to it, and we're going to power it up. We have an RV 12 volt power supply. It's 100 amps and runs at 13.6 volts. And we've got a shunt, a Victron 1000 amp shunt here, so we can monitor the power draw and see what it draws, and see how fast we can get it cool in here. I'm going to go get a thermometer, a temperature sensor. Hold on one sec. Got a temperature sensor here. I'm just going to put it on top of my fridge there. It says 87 degrees. It's about 89, 90 degrees outside right now. I've got the little infrared thermometer here so I can check what's coming out of the system. I'm going to power it up. Power it on. Alright, I get it. Around 68 degrees, huh? That's what I was measuring everything else by. Alright, we'll leave it there. Turn that fan up. It's on eco mode. We'll see how much power she draws on eco mode. A little under 500 watts, 450. Let me check the time. It's 6:04, so we'll know when it starts getting cooler in here. Alright, let's bump this up to regular mode. Just change the mode. Okay, that's the regular mode right there. Surely it's got to be over 30 amps. Alright, let me see what kind of air is coming out of this thing. We're in the 60s and 70s, and we did just start it up, so gotta give it a little while to catch up. I guess we can put it in turbo mode and try that out now. Eco. Okay, turbo mode. And we'll kick the fan up as well. Guess that one. There we go. I'm expecting around 60 amps a pull. We're looking at 43 right now. Not too bad. We'll let it run for a little bit and come back and check on it. Alright, first 15 minutes and knocked 2 degrees down off. No, that's more than 2, that's 5 degrees. Yeah, we went from 87 to 83. So it's cooling all right. And it does feel good. I'm like it is hot here. You know, that's for me, you know, putting this thing on the roof. But it appears to be cooling. I'm going to try out some of these features on the remote. I don't know what this voltage does. And then we got a light. Yeah, got a light. How about that? Oh, that must be the temperature in here. Oh, cool. So it flashes what the sensor sees. It's pretty neat. Then we've got this swing. It says swing on here. I don't know what that means. Oh, it is. It is. It's moving the vents. Well, that's pretty slick. You got a sleep mode. I guess that turns it off later. I don't know what the voltage does. Let's see what the... Oh, you get a reading of what voltage we're getting. Awesome. It's a nice little bonus. That's 5 degrees off. I don't know what I said earlier, but I think we were 4 earlier. So down to 82. Within 15 minutes, 5 degrees, not too bad. So one of the drawbacks to the system is you have to drill holes surrounding the device to mount it to the roof. And I would rather, like the other unit I had, it just had the, you could put the studs right up through the corners here. It had enough room where you could mount it that way. I kind of wish this one was like that. But I don't believe it is. There's no room on that side. Yep, no room on that side. It's a tight fit. It definitely requires drilling extra holes on the outside to make it work. But this does, so far it seems like it might be a little more powerful than the 8000 BTU velvet unit that I took out. And it does appear to be cooling, so we'll see what it does after 30 minutes. We've got another 10 minutes to reach 30 minutes. See how much cool it makes it. Or 60. 58. 56. There's our current temperature right there, 89 degrees. I bet you we get into the 70s before 30 minutes. So this unit is definitely cooling better than the other air conditioners I've tested. Better than my Houghton 13,000 BTU and the Velvet 8,000 BTU that I have, this 12 volt. And it is using the same power the Velvet had, so that is good. Plus, I had this all blocked off earlier when I was testing before, so I'm going to go back and block it off so I get a similar test. All right, still humming along. 650 watts, 46 amps, 30 minutes in, and we have dropped 8 degrees. So I would say that's pretty good progress. It's pretty hot outside and humid. Starting to get comfortable in here. I'm going to come back in another 30 minutes and see what temperature we're at then. Oh yeah. So it has been 1 hour. We're down to 73 degrees. This unit actually works really well. For the power that it's consuming, .44 amps, 626 watts at max power. It's almost down to what it's set at. I'm very impressed with the amount of power this thing's putting out. So it's really does a good job at cooling it off. I've got like 2 inches of spray foam throughout this. I don't know if I explained that, but that helps a lot. But the other air conditioner unit I had was not able to cool that well. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and let it go. Come back in another 30 minutes. And I bet you we're going to be close to 68 degrees. I haven't had one cool that well. Alright. And it's very quiet. That hum you hear is the 12 volt. The RV 12 volt power supply. This up here, it's very quiet. Alright, well, it actually performs as well as it as advertised. I do believe that's at least 10,000 BTU, at least, because it's cool in here now. It feels like my house. 74. I'm gonna put it over here. Well, I'm gonna put it somewhere besides where I had it. That's good. Just get it away from the noise and everything. Alright, I'll be back in another 30 minutes and we'll see. And I'm back. Let's see, what did we get down to? 78. That's because I set it over here. See if it's a little... It's cool. 78 degrees, I had it sitting away from the... So, overall... I guess I had the wind blowing on it over here, and that's why it went down to 73. So over here it's not getting the air blown on it. It's sitting lower. So I'm gonna let it run a little bit longer, but that's an hour and a half, and we went from 87 degrees down to 77. So it's about 10-degree difference. This is in standard mode. Okay, I'm going to switch to eco mode. Eco. Looks like most of the noise comes from the fan. That's eco mode with the fan on max. Okay, this is eco mode with the fan on minimum. This is standard mode. It's going to be with the fan on minimum. Turbo mode, fan minimum. I don't know why it keeps giving me that code. Alright. So, for today, I think for my final test, I am I'm going to let the system, I put the fan on auto, I put it on 72 degrees, and it is 73 degrees in here right now. So I'm going to let the AC try to keep up with the weather conditions, because I think it's going to be close to 90 today. So I want to see how well it keeps up, starting from a good position where it's even. So the outside temperature equals the inside temperature, and we'll see how well it keeps up. So we'll be able to tell. Trying to get the best real-world test under conditions that would normally be used. So I don't think we would be running it any cooler than 72. That's mainly to compensate for the door being open and closed. Alright, well, I'm going to be back in a minute. I'll catch that code. Alright, just maintaining right now. It's running on 17 amps, 252 watts. So that's really good. Of course, the outside temperature is probably equal to what it's trying to maintain. Yeah, we're equal. We're 72 degrees. So this is a good real-world test as it heats up today, how well it can maintain this temperature. Oh, there we go. Something just shut off. Turn the compressor off. I guess it reached 72 degrees, so now it's just blowing with the fan. Let's see what the amperage is while the compressor is off. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Just the fan running is about like a half an amp. All right, so I would prefer the trim ring to be more like this versus the big old trim ring that they have that came with it, because that thing's gigantic. There was some way to use a trim ring about that size, which is what I think I'm going to make one myself instead of using the factory one, because that factory one is just gigantic, and my roof is not really flat. But that is totally flat. I don't think it's going to mount very well in my situation because I've got a curved roof. So I'm going to have to end up making my own trim ring. That's one thing, one drawback. But the performance of the unit so far, I'm pretty happy with it. It's very quiet, and it seems to have the power and efficiency that I would be looking for. So I'm just going to have to make a few modifications to make it work in my situation. Alright, well, I'll check back in a couple hours when it heats up, and we'll check and see how well it's been keeping up. Alright, it's been a couple hours. It's about 11 o'clock on a Saturday, and the temperature is keeping up. We're running at 23 amps, 334 watts. We're running 80 degrees outside, 72 in here. So that's the secret, is to keep it consistent, keep it running, instead of, you know, having to force it to catch up. All right, I'll see if it gets up to 90 outside, and we'll come back and check on everything. So far, so good. All right, it's exactly noon. Still have it set to 72. It's getting a little warmer in here. It's to 74, but it's a comfortable, comfortable temperature. And it's running a little bit harder now. And we're at about 29, 30 amps, 400 watts. And that's the fan on auto and just on standard mode. All right, guys, it's 2 in the evening. I haven't made any changes. We're on auto and standard setting. We're reading 83 degrees in here, even though the thermostat's set to 72, so we're about 11 degrees off. But it is comfortable in here. It's air conditioned and it's not humid in here, and that's the main thing. Outside, it's 85. It says feels like 91. Yeah, we're in the 30 amp, 450 watts. So this is way more efficient than the conventional heat pump that I have, Houghton. And I'm back here in the back, and it's comfortable. I can always hit, you know, put it on high. It's got the turbo mode, so I think it's doing pretty good. For what you have, a very efficient system that can be run off batteries. You don't need a generator to run it. I'm pretty happy with it. So anyway, I think that's going to conclude today's testing. You know, it's able to keep it comfortable in here, but it won't freeze you out. Thanks for watching, guys.